Alright, what we got for review today? Just a drinking video. We'll just drink Evan Williams. I think I've already reviewed this, but we're going to do a drinking video of Evan Williams. As you can see, I got a minute amount in my cup right now. Eating a few pretzels. Been sipping on Evan Williams. It's probably one of the better bourbon whiskeys. I can get this for $10 at the local liquor store, and that's just over an 8 from. I don't have to go clear up to Mount Pleasant for that. Evan Williams is a very fine bourbon for what it is. No, very good. Much sweeter than most cheaper ones. Very smooth. Surprisingly, it almost smells like a rum for what it is. It's interesting. To me, anyway. To a lot of people, they can have different senses. There is a slight burn with Evan Williams. To me, you get somewhat of an ash and a sweetness, some grain in there. But it's predominantly caramel. Not real strong because there is some ash in there. Some oak ash, I guess. It's a very decent bourbon for how cheap it is. I'd probably reviewed this, but I'll just drink it. I don't care. I'll have to get more sometime this week or Friday. It's more expensive tasting than it actually is. It does got a slight burden to it, but not as bad as I'm used to. Now there is a burn there like most bourbons, but it's not too bad. For a cheap whiskey, Evan Williams really isn't a half bad. My top cheap ones right now are Benchmark and Evan Williams, and Evan Williams is my top because I can get Evan Williams fairly easily. So if I want something that's got a little more burn or a little more wood to it, I go with Benchmark. And who knows if I can still get Benchmark. I haven't been up to Mount Pleasant in forever to see. My guess is they probably still carry it, but who knows. I haven't been up there in months, long time. They're still open. I go by there a lot on the weekends. I don't go in there anymore much. Needs a change. They have a good selection, better than this one over here. Definitely have to look into it. But for Evan Williams, for what it is, it's very high with a 2 thumbs up in mine. I'd give it a 99.9 for a cheap bourbon, an overall scale probably around an 89, because it's an amazing bourbon for how cheap it is. They say it's triple filtered, I guess. I think that's what they said. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's what they said or not. They say it's sour mash, extra aged sour mash. Distilled from a time-honored fashion, originated in 1783, Evan Williams is produced in the heart of Kentucky's bourbon country. Smooth, more complex flavor, world-renowned by bourbon lovers. It's a very old bourbon. That is true. 43% alcohol by volume. Pretty substandard these days. Would I mix this with anything? Hell no. I drink it straight. It has much more of a flavor. If I was going to buy a bourbon to mix things with, that'd probably be Benchmark. Jack Daniels is getting way pricey around here. I don't know if it's getting pricey around the US or not, but it is getting quite pricey around here. Oddly enough, Evan Williams is a very good bourbon. Very good bourbon. That is very true. I'm gonna have a little more. Very good. This fifth's not even that old, and I've drank more than half of it. I do enjoy my whiskeys, but I am fairly particular about them. Mostly bourbon, mostly scotch. A little bit of rum here and there. Rum falls clear under a different spirit, though. I don't like wine much. Something about wine, maybe just because the kind I've been drinking. Cheap, who knows. But I can get into cheap whiskey. Might be shitty, but Evan Williams sure isn't. Evan Williams is really good. Another one of my favorites is Knob Creek, though that's a little higher end. Wonder if they even still make Knob Creek. Sure they do. Never wanted Fireball. Something about cinnamon in my whiskey. Definitely have to get some more. I'm gonna have to get a small bottle of Jack Daniels and do a review on. Fifths are just so expensive to do some Jack. Well, Jack Daniels is an ultimate fine whiskey. There's a lot of people who trash Jack Daniels, and that's unrightful. Jack Daniels has been around forever, well known, and yes, it is good. It's a little more chocolatey, and that's probably one of the reasons why it gets trashed so much, because it's much more chocolate than, say, your Beams or your Evans. And I heard Beam was brought out by a Japanese company. I don't know what the truth is to that. I'll have to look into it, but I am sure they've been bought out by a Japanese company, which saddens me because U.S. companies are just going on the wayside lately. Even more so than previous. There might be a very slight rye in this. I don't think it is, though. I don't think it has rye in it. Maybe it's the combination of the wood and whatever they use. That is a very complex bourbon for how cheap it is. Something you would not expect from a $10 bottle of bourbon, more than likely. If you haven't tried Evan Williams, I definitely would say give Evan Williams a shot, because you just don't see Evan Williams anymore much. People don't drink it much, and when they do, they hide it because it's cheap. Sorry to use quotation marks, but that is true. People just don't use it anymore because it's cheap. It deserves a lot more than what it gets. It's an amazing bourbon for the price point. But that will probably be my next review, is Jack Daniels. I haven't done a Jack Daniels review. I have drank it. It was one of the first whiskeys I actually got totally tore up, shit-faced, falling down, drunk, puking in the bed on. I have drank it, and I do enjoy it, even after that phase. So that stands to say something if you can still stand to drink it after you've been tore up, puking in the bed phase, and hung over for almost a week after drinking it. Luckily, I have not done that for a long time, and I have learned my lesson. But Jack Daniels is good. There's a story behind Jack Daniels. On one of my first heavy drinking episodes, I'll share when I get that bottle in detail. Luckily, I didn't get alcohol poisoning from that night, but we'll tell you more when I get a bottle of Jack. Probably either Friday or maybe even next Friday, but I think I have enough money to maybe mingle it to get some, because I can deal with that, yeah, maybe. Jack Daniels is just so expensive. I can get a bottle of Knob Creek about the same price as Jack now these days. I don't know if that's the case world US wide or not. I don't know if they've rose the price on Daniels. Maybe it's just around here, I don't know. Utah can have screwy prices on their whiskey. That's why I mostly drink Evan or Benchmark. Though I do spring for Johnny Walker Black Label, which is a damn good beverage as well. On occasion. I haven't had the red, Johnny Walker Red, yet. I'll have to get some Johnny Walker Red. That's another thing I got on the list. Maybe I'll get some Johnny Walker Red and some Jackie Daniels. We'll see. Might be able to go up there tomorrow. even know if they'll be open on Tuesday after Memorial. What the shot? Mostly out of Evan, you get a very sweet, almost caramel smell. It's not like most ones where you get a wow, that's a woody smell, woody fragrance out of it. This one, it's very sweet with a slight backing of wood, which it supports the flavor profile. There's a little bit of ash in the flavor profile, would be my guess, though that could be different with some people. It's very well colored for what a bourbon should be, if you can see here. I don't know how on my camera is, but for a bourbon, very well colored in the light, but it's very well colored for a bourbon. Maybe a little on the light side, but it's not bad colored. I don't really give a damn about the color. These days people are adding caramel coloring to it, so it's not going to matter what the color is, but I'm not too sure Evan Williams is doing that. You know, that's a damn good whiskey. For $10 or whatever it is, it's probably cheaper around you, because I've heard back east you can get it for around, what, $9, $8, $7 for a fifth. For that price, I pay $10 in Utah. For that price, go for it. Evan Williams is not going to disappoint you, unless you're very picky. I'm picky, but not very picky, and I have different tastes than a lot of different folks. I eat things and drink things that nobody would ever drink. So that's probably saying a lot to my likes. But my goodness, for $10, that's a smashing whiskey. Bardstown, Kentucky, Old Evan Williams Distillery. 43% alcohol by volume, 1/5 sour mash. Definitely a 2 thumbs up for what it is. I'd give it probably right out of 100 on this scale. I don't really care. It's impressive, to say the least. I'm going to end with this review because it's going to take forever to upload. 12 minutes and 40 seconds in. So definitely try Evan Williams. Definitely a good bourbon. One of my favorites. I don't know why I didn't try it before I did, but give it a shot. You know, it's all you can do. Definitely a good bourbon. I'm going to end this review and giving this a positive thumbs up, and we'll probably review Jackie D's next. Maybe. Or maybe Evan Williams Red. I have never tried Evan Williams Red, so that kind of intrigues me. Not Evan Williams Red, Johnny Walker Red. Disregard that. Johnny Walker Red intrigues me because I've never tried it. It might be a little strong, but it was the favorite of a Winston Churchill. So we'll definitely give it a shot. I think that's what we'll try next instead of Jackie D's. I'll probably get a bottle of Jackie D's too, but alright, we'll end this review and giving it a very positive thumbs up. Definitely keep your glasses full of whatever your favorite beverage is. Cheers. I'm going to end with this review again. Evan Williams, 100%.